Workplace abuse, nepotism, poor production management, faking content, predatory marketing, questionable hiring policies, and major ethical concerns. Well, does it feel good to see this unfold since I posted a summary regarding financial capitalism in 2022? And all those allegations, it's kinda what happens for any multi-million, billion-dollar corporation. Especially if it's run by a bunch of teenagers and young adults who have not held a normal job and whose main customers are young children. And yes, company, as in a corporation. Although people think of MrBeast as James Stephen Donaldson, MrBeast is more accurately a media startup that grew and expanded to multiple corporate entities united by a single brand owned by the same person. In a way, it's really not much different from, say, Roblox, Epic Games, or BuzzFeed, just at a smaller scale. But while there are a lot of people and videos saying it's the downfall of MrBeast, come on, do you really think a hectomillionaire, or by some estimates a billionaire, won't have enough money for lawyers? Remember Ellen DeGeneres? Another celebrity that was known for giving money and stuff and doing tons of charity on their show, still had comedy tours and a Netflix show for years after the allegations of, let's see, a toxic workplace culture with sexual misconduct allegations. Boy, does that not sound exactly like the same thing MrBeast has, eh? But do you really think his audience of 14-year-olds will care? Some people unsubscribe, they'll stop watching, but MrBeast will just apologize and come up with public statements, find a new set of 13-year-old subscribers, and their channels will continue to get millions of views. 1 year later, everybody will just forget everything. Just like every corporate scandal that has happened. Let's not pretend that MrBeast will just disappear. Even if they lost 99% of their subscribers, they will still have 3 million subscribers, which is more than enough to live a darn good life for any YouTuber. But just in case you have absolutely no idea who MrBeast is, in which case, good for you. You're a very well-adjusted person who doesn't live online. MrBeast is the online alias and YouTube channel by James Stephen Donaldson, known for over-the-top ideas like being buried alive for 50 hours, or $10,000 every day in a grocery store, or $1 versus $1 million hotel room. With over 300 million subscribers, most of whom are children, it is, as of 2024, the largest YouTube channel. The MrBeast brand has also expanded into Ghost Kitchen MrBeast Burger, candy bar brand Feastables, Beast Philanthropy, and a reality game show collaboration with Amazon, among other things. Although the corporation gets most of its views from high production videos which would require huge production teams and co-hosts, media and online attribution of its success has been attributed to Donaldson, which by the way is a very common occurrence when the media reports about companies. Everybody wants to think about the rockstar CEOs, Jensen Huang, Lisa Su, Elon Musk, but nobody cares about people who aren't the face of the companies. Donaldson has cultivated a reputation for being extremely charitable and generous with giveaways, stemming from the on-camera giveaways and videos on Beast Philanthropy. On that channel, the brand has built wells, given food, and paid for the eye surgeries of people. Nope, I ain't calling him Gimme. He's not your friend, okay? Public opinion changed a little because of back-to-back allegations, which has so far gotten more former employees to speak up. More specifically, those controversies being grooming allegations against co-host Eva Chris Tyson and that the company knowingly hired a registered sex offender, poor management of and safety violations in MrBeast's new game show with Amazon, where contestants describe terrible conditions resulting in basic human needs of contestants not being met, such as not being given food and water, having their medication and underwear confiscated, being laughed at by production staff, and leaving the place bruised and bleeding. And the bombshell, a video claiming that Donaldson is a fraud by a former employee, Dogpack404 or Dawson. There were two main points in that video. The first of which is that MrBeast employs predatory marketing to the point of psychological manipulation and falsehoods, especially because most of their audience are children.
And he runs these sweepstakes to like bribe children with gambling to consume more sugar. Like, this is far worse than a lottery ticket because a lottery ticket doesn't give you diabetes.
So for instance, one claim is that 70% of the sales for Feastables came from people gambling hoping to win something, rather than being for the chocolate itself.
I said to somebody at the company, I feel like Feastables is 70% a chocolate company and 30% a lottery targeting children. And this higher up person at MrBeast said it was probably closer to the other way around and was laughing about it. Like 70% a lottery, 30% a chocolate company. Everyone knows it's just the call to actions and call to action giveaways especially that drive sales.
And the other thing is that Feastables are not as healthy as claimed, which may sound kinda stupid considering that it's still a chocolate bar full of sugar, so obviously it's not going to be healthy. But remember, most of their audience are children. Separately, Chair Review Channel honestly noticed several inconsistencies in the marketing of the Feastables chocolate. In March 2022, Feastables were marketed as being free of child and slave labor. But these disclaimers were then taken away in 2023 as the company expanded. Allegedly, Feastables knew that they would have to diversify their suppliers if they scale up production and chose to omit displaying certain certifications on their packaging.
Machu Picchu Foods is or was the manufacturer for Feastables. Now, Machu Picchu is also Rainforest Alliance certified, they're also kosher certified, and halal certified. But here's the thing, Feastables has never, since its very beginning, ever been kosher certified or halal certified. How is that possible when the manufacturer are both of those things?
In other words, by initially going with sustainable suppliers with a huge marketing campaign, then secretly changing their suppliers to the less sustainable ones.
Pretty wild. We have 4 chocolate lines going and we can't meet demand. So we need way more chocolate.
The company is able to benefit from looking like an ethical company while profiting using unethical methods later. Going back to the Dawson video, the second point is that they often run lotteries, sometimes even changing the rules, which could be considered illegal.
Now this stream did say, we are doing a ton of giveaways, no purchase necessary in the description. But to be eligible to win most prizes, you had to make a purchase.
Would you guys prefer, that we throw money in random orders or that we throw items in random orders? Yeah.
Somebody screamed in chat, I want a Switch. Hey. Buy a shirt.
In 30 minutes, we are giving away my car to someone that buys merch.
Which each giveaway is its own independent event. You can't give one prize to someone who buys something and a different prize to someone in chat. The prize where you have to buy something is still an illegal lottery, which obviously MrBeast knows this, but you know, he's a poker player. He likes a little bluffery, a little plausible deniability, you know, pretending to be ignorant of the law.
You know, YouTube's a little different than this.
Yeah.
Because YouTube, I can just do stuff like that. I can just be like, you know what? Pull up a database of 100 people that bought chocolate bars and pick 100 random ones.
Got it.
I think I can do that over here. I don't know. So I don't want to say anything. And then someone be like,
yeah,
actually, that's illegal.
Right.
I could not find any way to enter the big Tesla giveaway without spending at least $42.
And we're giving away a Tesla to someone random who bought stuff.
They also gave away 24 tickets, which gave you the opportunity to be in a video. Again, most of these tickets you had to make a purchase to win.
One random person that buys in what time frame? 10 minutes. We're going to put this in someone's order that buys something. And we're going to have 24 people. We're going to put them in 24 different circles. $1 million on the line. Have some fun. You know what I'm saying?
Also, this video never happened. There is no MrBeast video of 24 people in circles competing for $1 million. Unless it ended up being 100 people in a circle competing for $500,000, but that's a smaller prize and much worse odds.
There are other smaller things, like how the game shows were highly manipulated to have pre-arranged outcomes and that the participants who won prizes were often friends of MrBeast. The thing to note here is that these are legally disputable, given that MrBeast does have disclaimers. Somewhere. But legality aside, the ethics here are highly questionable at best. Especially since, you know, most of the audience are children. Then, after this video, there's a sequel, claiming that MrBeast is a sociopath, which is apparently part 2 of a trilogy. Dawson interviewed another former employee, Jake Weddle, who worked for MrBeast full-time as an on-camera personality from 2019 to 2020 and later on an ad hoc basis. Allegedly, Wedo and another employee were fired for trying to negotiate better pay. When he was brought back on an ad hoc basis, the challenge required him to be subjected to solitary confinement for 100 days. Hey look, a John Oliver piece on solitary confinement to let you know that it's a fucked up practice.
There are additional elements to solitary that you might not expect, like the fact that some cells are lit around the clock and that there can be a near constant sound of banging, screaming and moaning. Frontline spent 4 months filming in a solitary confinement unit and released a video just of the noise. And here is just 20 seconds of it.
However, it was pitched to him to be much safer and easy than it actually is.
The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement, but don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's gonna be like a luxury vacation. You're gonna have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine, and like part of the video is gonna be you deciding like what items am I gonna get rid of, today, and it's like the choice. They were like, it's only gonna be bad for me to last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first, it's gonna be like a breeze for most of it, and by the end of it, after 30 days, you're gonna get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day.
Additionally, Wedo was often edited out of videos for having too much on-screen personality.
And they always cut me out of the videos. Editors have told me that it's because you have too much of a personality.
So he thought a solo video was the perfect project. In reality, aside from being trapped in a room with no human contact, no sunlight, no windows, no clocks, and being under surveillance 24/7, Wedo noted that the room smelled due to fresh paint, the lack of a filtration system, and bad dairy from the ice cream machine. The MrBeast crew also refused to turn off the fluorescent lights, insisting that doing so would interfere with the planned time-lapse video. For 10 days, Wedo experienced sleep deprivation that would, to this day, cause him to suffer from insomnia.
And I'm being, hey, it's been a couple days, I'm not doing so hot, which if I'm filming a video, that's what I should be doing for the camera, but it was too real. If they're faking videos, why couldn't we fake this one? If we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off? How come we couldn't maybe not have some time-lapse footage for 10 seconds?
Did you try to get out?
Yes!
Donaldson also apparently ignored the warnings from other staff about Wedo's declining health during the challenge, and made Wedo run a marathon on a treadmill while sleep deprived. According to Wedo's account, Donaldson came in to check on him after they finally stopped filming, but appeared to be more worried about possible legal repercussions.
He says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers, your mental health's the most important thing, just want to make sure you're okay, and the last thing we want you to do is... I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out.
That video didn't end up being released, with the implication being that watching a man being psychologically tortured for 10 days wasn't really that entertaining, but based on the similarity of the rooms, it seems like it served as a testing ground for other videos, with vastly improved conditions. I wonder why Donaldson decided that he would only stay for 50 hours. Also, some of the things Donaldson says in this prison video are interesting with this new context.
There was something in it.
Look at all that stuff.
I'm just not gonna drink water. I'll just die.
I feel like the objective of prison is to make you feel like an animal.
Every time I finally fall asleep, I get woken up. I'm so sick of this place.
Around subjected to the mental warfare that is being a prisoner.
By the way, some people say that what Wedo went through is equivalent to a war crime, but it isn't. Workplace abuse and coercion are still serious allegations. There is no need to MrBeastify everything here. Of course, everything above are allegations, and a lot of it runs on technicalities. One could argue that the internet doesn't have the same laws as traditional things like TV, or that the workers knew what they signed up for. Wedo could have just said no or insisted on leaving. Dogpack shares an internal document for how to succeed in a MrBeast production, with a section titled "No does not mean no."
Girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Essentially, the company cultivates a culture of being manipulative due to the huge costs of production, which may result in producers making empty promises to get the other parties to agree to certain things. An example of such manipulation is the filming site for a video project called Protect the Yacht, Keep It. Although the video claims,
yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video.
Dawson emailed the camp, which allowed MrBeast to film in the area, asking if trash was indeed cleaned up. However, he received a reply which didn't confirm or deny the debris and trash left at the site, saying that they will choose to offer grace. In Weddell's case, his decision to continue seemed to be affected by a combination of sleep deprivation, the power dynamics in play, and feeling pressured to not waste the huge production costs involved.
Like, did you have a choice, or?
Based on the Rubik's Cube thing and based on all the other stuff, like there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know? And if I refuse, it's just, oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing.
Before Weddell recounted his experiences, he said that he didn't want to badmouth Donaldson publicly until now because he wanted a career. Doing so could also make his friends lose their jobs. So, this is all grounds for a lawsuit, right? Well, apparently because this happened more than 3 years ago, this may be over North Carolina's statute of limitations for similar cases. So, not great. Well, unless you're MrBeast. And if you're a Beast fan, you might be shocked. Which at least seems to be the case from skimming through online comments reading about these allegations. Then the minority of some skeptical assholes, like me, would then chime in and say that we knew something was wrong. We just didn't know exactly what, because we wouldn't care enough to watch their videos. But honestly, if you keep out of the celebrity worship, sit down and spend a little time thinking and reading around, it was all quite predictable. MrBeast's content is not anything new. Much older game shows like Queen for a Day, that's the 1950s, or even more recent shows like Survivor since the 1990s, have the same basic premise of giving big prizes or undergoing challenges for contestants. For an idea of how profitable giving away stuff can be, Ellen DeGeneres claimed that her show gave away $500 million over its 19 seasons, which is coincidentally about the same as her estimated net worth. In the 2020-21 season, her show brought in nearly $300 million in ad revenue, even after the workplace scandals. It's also not exactly a new thing to use profits from one business venture to then do actual philanthropy. Usually for tax reasons, which even ordinary tax-paying working adults should have seen on their tax forms. Nestle, a candidate for the most evil company on earth and known for exploitative child labor and taking away water, also has a philanthropy division.
Congratulations, Juan! You're in the running to win the Nestle Salary for Life contest.
As do other companies like the Sachs of Goldman, Enron, or ExxonMobil. When you consider that MrBeast's philanthropy has 46 videos compared to the 800 on his main channel, it shouldn't be hard to figure out that MrBeast is simply doing the exact same thing as any other corporation. Or, well, Ellen DeGeneres, who also did the same thing but with a different corporate structure. According to a piece done by Time, Donaldson has revealed that MrBeast has an annual revenue of $600 to $700 million a year. As for money towards his philanthropy channel, it's $100,000 a month, excluding the 100,000 pounds of food. And you may notice that this number is actually pretty small compared to their revenue. It is like 0.2%. Based on the rumors, memes, and keyboard warriors, I was under the impression that MrBeast had more philanthropic videos and it would be like, I don't know, 20%. But the reality is, most of the money MrBeast spends is a result of them not reusing sets and always searching for new things to demolish. $600 million worth of movie sets burnt through annually to fuel dopamine and children and get them to open up their parents' wallets to buy more chocolate. But it's nice and totally teaching people to be environmentally friendly because they gave 0.2% to charity and planted some trees. For comparison, Nestle's community giving in 2023 was 177 million Swiss francs, or 0.19% of that year's sales revenue of 93 billion. So MrBeast is like 0.01% better. According to Beast Philanthropy's 2022 annual report, they had about $9 million of expenses. Of course, most of these came from sponsors. But even if we were to assume all $9 million came from the main channel, it's still 1.5%. Well, how much was your income this year? With $100,000 in annual income, all you need to be more generous than MrBeast is donate $200 or $1,500 if you use sponsors. And if you don't live a lavish lifestyle and buy second-hand goods over new, congratulations! You're also way more environmentally friendly than they are. Did I mention the environmental destruction? Like the time they went to Antarctica and colonized it in the name of Shopify?
Now that we climbed the mountain, we get to name it. I think we should name it Shopify, because to be honest, I couldn't have done it without Shopify.
We just conquered Shopify.
Go to shopify.com.
See, there has not only been more and more tourist activity to Antarctica, but because of how far it is, tourism there is more carbon intensive, or roughly equivalent to the average European's output for a year. And because Antarctica is a largely untouched region, the ecosystem is actually more fragile than it looks. In addition to climate change already threatening the place, soot from ship engines accelerates snow melting. Hikes can damage flora that took decades to grow. Human presence introduce diseases, and just being there affect mating seasons. There are even non-native species like crabs, mussels, barnacles or algae clinging onto the hulls of the ship, affecting the marine food chain and the chemistry of the water by becoming invasive species. And while there is the argument that MrBeast can become an advocate to protect Antarctica, but as The Atlantic article continued, that argument is unsupported by research, and in many cases, tourists often become ambassadors for more tourism instead. Imagine if the tourist who went there was not just a tourist, but a YouTuber, who is usually called something else, like an influencer, as in they influence people to do stuff, like to visit Antarctica. Boy, what a brand new concept, that people imitate things they see online. But what's not brand new is also the idea of for-profit philanthropy as seen in MrBeast's videos. You see, 2 years ago I wanted to make a video criticizing MrBeast, but then gave up on the idea when I realized 1. The MrBeast army of 12-year-olds can be super relentless. 2. I found then and now's 1-hour video which was far more balanced than my personal views. And 3. I actually didn't want to watch that many MrBeast videos. So I made a summary of then and now's video. Essentially, MrBeast is part of a trend of philanthrocapitalism, referring to the practice of doing philanthropy like businesses do. This dates back to the late 19th century, all the way back to the Rockefellers and Carnegies donating money for public goods. While on the other side, they are doing things like creating monopolies, underpaying workers, and shutting down union strikes. In essence, philanthropy was used as a tool to influence politics and sway public opinion. MrBeast, though not such a political entity, is still a business and relies on sponsors who do have such political agenda. This means they will use the clean image of MrBeast, of a young, generous genius philanthropist who found a way to monetize charity, to greenwash and sanitize their own public reputation. For example, Hormel and Smithfield are sponsors for donating 10,000 turkeys in one of the videos, refreshing their image to be generous philanthropists helping alleviate hunger. But both of these companies were involved in illegal price-fixing schemes that were part of the reason causing people to require food donations in the first place. What creators like MrBeast actively promote is the impression that the current way of doing business and politics is fine. The elites have everything covered, or simply watching an ad on YouTube, well, 5 ads nowadays, can alleviate or even solve complicated and boring topics which require systemic changes like global warming and poverty. In effect, these sponsorships are indirect lobbying to neglect social causes for the sake of corporate profits. Like one of the world's worst plastic polluters, Coca-Cola. They could invest in reusable packaging or truly recyclable packaging. But why do that when sponsoring ocean cleanup is much cheaper to stop people from bothering them about plastic? There are obviously way more examples in then announced video, but that's the gist. And from my view, there were other signs that Donaldson may not quite be the messiah that 11-year-olds make him out to be. For one, Donaldson's channel didn't start out being about any particular kind of social cause. His first videos were Minecraft and gaming related content until he gained that obsession with how much money YouTubers were making. Like seriously, how much does PewDiePie make videos does he want to make? The videos that made MrBeast go viral were videos like I mailed myself in a box and it really worked, and I counted to 100,000. These aren't contents that were motivated by a certain set of principles or specific goals like teaching people how to cook or making something boring fun. If anything, the main principle that MrBeast seemed to operate on is the blind worship of money and fame.
I'm a YouTuber because I want to make a lot of money. I mean, why else would I be a YouTuber? Well, women are stupid because they're inferior to men. And because they're inferior, they have smaller brains, which obviously makes them stupider. And that's also why you can't respect women, you know. But you got to act like you respect them. You'll never actually respect a woman, but just act like you respect them. And you'll be fine with that. And you also ended up with saying, I just want to have sex with them. And that's pretty normal. I mean, why else were women created?
Given this analysis, it starts to make sense why Donaldson may appear to be somewhat of a hypocrite when he does things like clean up the ocean, but then also create more garbage like putting up 1 billion Christmas lights, or the hydraulic press versus Lambo, or say accept a sponsor like Circle, which is a water bottle with disposable parts.
So you've got the bottle itself, which is nothing to write home about. You've got a lid, which is different because the lid actually has a giant gaping hole in it. There's no way to stop that water. And then you've got what I'm gonna call the flavor tampon. Now, this thing also has the spout/nipple that you drink out of connected, attached to it. This is all one plastic piece. And as I mentioned, you have to replace this every 10 days. And
Wait, pause for a second. Do Americans just not understand that tea exists? Like, you know, that's the same mechanism as a teapot for those tea infuser bottles, which is not disposable. Anyway, MrBeast also does things like give away $300,000 in one video and then spending twice that amount on fireworks. Also, MrBeast may have gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money from PPP loans because of that thing that happened in 2020, which was supposed to be for struggling businesses. It may seem hypocritical until you understand that they are working on the same principle that every corporation and businessman have operated on since the dawn of time, that money and reputation are their god. Donaldson giving money seems to just be an extension of such beliefs, engaging in calculated reputation marketing. In fact, it is exactly that, since he has said that he wants to be Elon Musk. You know, that guy that everybody loved before they realized that everything was just marketing. And also said that he would love to be president.
I swear to God, I thought this guy should be president.
Oh!
Is that, no, don't say that'd be fun. Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, the only thing
Political
is...
aspirations.
Yeah, I would love to.
Except he doesn't want to bother doing or understand politics first.
I feel like you have to do a lot of politics leading up to it. And I don't know, like if you could just go from... You know, no one ever has done this, just being a celebrity to just being president. That would be great. But if I have to like work my way up and be like a mayor and then like a senator.
I think we've realized you don't have to.
Yeah, well then it is appealing. Yeah, when I'm like 40 or 50.
And also that he would prove to voters that he can't be bought.
If I was a billionaire and I just gave away all my money and I was like, I can't be bought, I just gave away every penny. I have literally $0 in my bank account. Vote for me. I feel like that's a pretty good campaign thing. Like you're voting for me.
Hello? Donald Trump, that former president in the country he is living in?
No one ever has done this.
More recently, in 2024, Donaldson tweeted, or shitted if you prefer, that he wouldn't care about party lines if he were president. He would have experts from the left and right advise him and find the middle ground that is best for America. In effect, Donaldson revealed his political ignorance by not only describing his potential campaign as being eerily similar to the appeal of the Orange Man in 2016, you know, with the outsider so he's not with either side angle and the can't be bought cause he's a billionaire angle. Donaldson also essentially declared that he is open to being manipulated because he has no core principles or convictions or policies. But sure, worshipping wealth and being ignorant and naive aren't crimes and don't necessarily make you a bad person. In fact, it is often encouraged in corporate America. Donaldson does not have expertise on things like candy bars and burgers. Yet, when choosing to expand his empire, he chose things that he knew his audience would eat up. Children like chocolate and burgers, so they'll sell those. It's no different from celebrity brands that usually don't offer anything aside from slapping a face on a cheap product with a huge markup. The quality concerns that came up with MrBeast burgers is completely predictable, if not even expected to happen. It's a feature that comes when you don't have any expertise and enter a business just because you know it will make money. Donaldson claimed he started it because restaurants were struggling and that he never made a penny of it. But do you really expect us to believe that he didn't benefit in any way when it's a massive advertising campaign with his brand on every one of those restaurants? YouTubers should especially know that, since most YouTubers have a long period of time before getting monetized or even becoming profitable. In the initial stages before becoming a sustainable venture, getting your channel seen or heard is often more important than getting a profit. Even without being a YouTuber, given the scale, what Donaldson has effectively done throughout his career is similar to blitz scaling, a business strategy often prioritized by tech startups to achieve massive growth at a cost of short-term profitability. The idea is to achieve market dominance at the cost of everything else. That if market dominance is achieved, the inefficiencies and risk that comes with such extreme rapid growth is worth it. Tech companies like Amazon and Uber, for example, essentially operated with no profits in their initial phases, choosing expansion to win key markets while sidestepping or ignoring operational issues and legal hurdles. Just small things like ignoring existing regulations for taxi services, not paying for licenses, and undercutting taxi drivers to the point where hundreds of taxi drivers protest in the streets because they don't have income to repay the license fees. Or as a leaked internal email from 2014 puts it, sometimes we have problems because, well, we're just F-king illegal. Blitzscaling, am I right? What's that? You said the CEO resigned in 2017 amid scandals of sexual harassment, racial discrimination, and bullying within the company that had not been addressed under his watch. Why does that sound so familiar? Right, this video was supposed to be about MrBeast. You probably noticed the similarities in MrBeast productions, with them doing things first, then thinking about the consequences later. But personally, the biggest red flag that Donaldson isn't a good person is him being friends with professional POS Logan Paul, grifter Gary Vee, and being involved in NFT pumps. Here are abstracts from a podcast released in September 2021 of them literally bragging about it.
I know you're big into crypto.
Yeah, crypto's been killing it, man.
Especially for you.
Agreed. I mean, you've been doing pretty well as well.
Yeah. Well, I like the space. I remember you called me maybe like 8 months ago, and you're like, yeah. you go, yeah, just put $1.5 million into Bitcoin. I'm pretty excited about it. To see
Let's
where it
fucking go. Yeah. I'll show you my portfolio after this, but I also...
$1.5 million in Bitcoin? I thought the 10-year-old MrBeast fans say that good old Gimme doesn't care about money, or that he cared about the environment.
CryptoPunks, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the next Facebook, where all of us were like, okay,
everyone's
Gary.
judging. I'm texting Logan. And I'm like, Gary lost his
legit?
mind.
Bro, all of us are like, yo, Gary's nuts. Yo, Gary was right again.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We got to keep the story going. So there's like all these like very successful people in this call. And Gary's just like, everyone shut the fuck up. Here's what you're going to do, and you're going to do it right now. You're all going to buy a bunch of CryptoPunks. And we're all just like, he's like, who here owns one? And like one guy raised his hand, and it's because Gary bullied him into buying it the day before. And we're all just like, are you sure, Gary? And we're asking questions, and he's like, just buy it. I was just so pulled by his like conviction that I bought a bunch.
Wait.
Yeah, I bought quite a few.
You can see the dump just right after this clip was published. September 2021 would put it right about here, almost perfectly at the peak. MrBeast even tells us how much he earned.
Any zingers? Any like real special ones?
I had some that like, whatever, 20, 30x.
And then half a minute later, It's like they're so close to realizing the possible ethicality and legality of doing this.
Can I ask you guys a question? When Gary does that call with all these billionaires and 8 months or a year later, everybody's like, Gary was right again.
Yeah.
Is it possible that he's right because of the call? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think about that a
like,
lot.
dude, he has all these
I think about
billionaire
that a
market
lot.
makers in the thing.
I think about
He
that a
makes
lot.
the call, makes the market.
I don't get it. Why are they confessing?
They're not confessing. They're bragging.
Much like YouTube not being TV.
I think I can do that over here. I don't know. So I don't want to say anything and then someone be like, yeah, actually, that's illegal.
Right.
NFTs and cryptocurrencies are not considered traditional investments like stocks. So while it may feel like they committed a crime, it's once again arguably technically not. This is partly because US lawmakers don't seem to even have a basic understanding of how Wi-Fi works.
Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the...
So if I have
question.
TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
But when the existence and ethics of your business run on a technicality, it's kinda, I don't know, not good. Whenever a MrBeast thread pops up on Reddit or whatever, defenders made him sound like Jesus reincarnated, somehow producing gold out of thin air and monetizing that which was impossible. A humbled being that he dedicated his entire existence to helping people. But he's just a regular capitalist. I'm not even sure if those comments are real anymore. Are fanboys really this fucking easy to buy? Pop quiz! Would you rather fight 1,000 9-year-olds or 10 lawyers? Because that's exactly the dilemma you will face when criticizing a cult of personality. First, you have to go through fanboys. They'll create memes to subtly change opinions. They'll come in droves and downvote anything that criticizes him. They'll give comments like, as MrBeast would say, this is the biggest clown we could find, it has over 63.4k subs. Fun fact, MrBeast's short channel is more subscribers than your main channel. Or say, when a woman criticizes ocean cleanup, Beast fans would comment things like, you look like Boyan is your ex and he slept Keith you but broke up, like TF girl you thinking. Entitled white woman, see how it feels to be generalized? Shut the fuck up and appreciate a genius apostrophe work. Or even literal death threats over someone telling the experience editing for MrBeast. Way to go, children. Continue on. Tell us what you learned from this very kind and nice person you call MrBeast. Remember the pop quiz I gave? Well, I lied. You don't have a choice. Criticizing MrBeast also comes with a litigation risk. And according to a text Dawson received from an anonymous employee, Donaldson wants to hire private investigators to follow Dawson, even finding ways to discredit him using personal attacks. This also allegedly happens to Rosanna Panzino, a YouTuber speaking out about the unfair practices of MrBeast. So you need to fight online hate and lawyers. But in addition to these difficulties in speaking out, other online personalities, some of whom have financial ties to MrBeast, often go to their defense.
Targeted at one of the only wealthy people in general who are constantly helping the community and people around him. I made a video recently talking about MrBeast. I'm not his fucking PR manager, but he's one of the only genuine wealthy people that are constantly doing everything they can to help other people. You only have to scroll 3 tweets on his Twitter to see this massive food drive he just did to help the impoverished and people around him.
So the thing is, literally every large corporation does this.
Nestle is a nutrition company, so it makes a ton of sense to be out here fighting hunger. We have St. Louis Area Food Bank out here in St. Louis, and we're packaging up some produce for the community.
Where did you think Team C's got the money from? They got it from Coca-Cola, one of the largest plastic polluters in the world. And let's go back to August 2020, when Moist Critical made a video about Ellen DeGeneres saying this.
There's always been one thing that I've believed to be true, and so far no one's been able to prove otherwise. It's that people that gloat about how kind they are the biggest assholes. I think it takes a very conceited douchebag to brag about how nice they are. And you know exactly what kind of people I'm talking about, the ones that can't shut the fuck up about every single good deed they do, no matter how trivial, that just make everything good they do seem so fake and disingenuous where it just seems like it's points on a scorecard to them.
To be fair, I really want to make a video where I give a homeless man $100,000 because I think that would go hella viral. So shocked, like have your hands over your face, like you're emotional as you can be. So like have your hand reaching for it and then like be like shocked, like you're spread out the money as much as you can. No, hold. Now act a little surprised.
And things to use in a conversation to make themselves feel superior to others. I just think that shit sucks, and there's no better example of this than Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres' whole career and brand image is centered around the idea that she is a kind person.
Why the double standards here? Ellen DeGeneres collaborated with Walmart to make a $1 million donation for a hurricane relief fund, that $500,000 to rebuild an elementary school. She gave her audience $1 million. Well, look at that list. She's basically the old TV version of MrBeast. What changed, Moist? Is it the burger money or the games you play for $100,000? Also, CoffeeZilla, who usually covers scams and fraudsters for every video on their channel, for some unknown reason has a random video defending MrBeast.
That's what MrBeast is known for doing. His entire brand is donating to charity. Exactly one day before he launched this Squid Game video that so many people are mad at him for, he fed 10,000 people with turkey dinners through his charity.
He played off MrBeast increasing his subscribers as a joke, but just because you said it as a joke doesn't mean it's not true.
Boost the subs or something like that, which is dope. But I shot this before that. I don't want anyone to think like I'm on, MrBeast payroll or anything, because, that is absolutely not the case.
I'm showing these two because they tend to be liked and seen as good guys. Their opinions tend to have sway. And the point is, any criticism of MrBeast would have been met with a lot of backlash, or you'll be accused of somehow chasing clout. Totally misunderstanding, or maybe they're gaslighting people on how chasing clout really works. If someone wants to maximize profit and clout by talking about something, most of the time it's way more profitable to just go with the flow. The default flow is usually saying good things. That's literally how sponsors look for influencers. They find people who already like the product. Even if it's not for sponsors, shielding a product that has a growing audience is also often more beneficial. And remember not to do research on that thing you're shielding, lest you find out that it's somehow unethical.
How do they have so much money to spend on sponsoring us when they don't even convert that well? We don't know, but FTX says they just have a lot of money that they have to spend. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is a bubble. Whatever.
As long as it's a popular product, just go with the flow. Say the things that will make people happy and rake in those sweet, sweet profits. If anything goes wrong, all you have to do is apologize. Cut off that sponsor or product and say that you're wrong. You didn't know. And now your audience is happy because they thought you listened to them. You're a man of the community. Remember those YouTubers promoting FTX? Last I checked, they still have an audience, still making money. People are stupid. Just apologize and they'll forgive and forget. You basically profit both ways. Here's the thing about YouTubers. There are a lot of them that would just never, ever, in the 11 parallel dimensions and 827 timelines, become mega rich through YouTube because they have certain convictions and will just never make a video promoting the things that make YouTubers go big. For example, there are tech reviewers that just stay small because they constantly criticize brands and they never get sent early samples and sponsors don't want to work with them. No money, no early advantage, no growth. On a personal example, I used to make Genshin Impact recipe videos. Then I realized that maybe promoting gambling for children isn't, ethical or good, and made a video criticizing that. That video made less than $200 over 3 years, and I basically don't make Genshin videos anymore. Is that $200 really worth it considering that it took a month to make? Fuck! This thumbnail alone is 5 hours. It would have been way more profitable and easier to go with the flow, continue making Genshin recipes while ignoring the promoting gambling part. I could enter MiHoYo's creator program, see if I win a little cash, maybe join their partner program. I help them, they help me. 3 years of that with only more and more people playing MiHoYo games. How much money did my morals cost me? I'm just saying, I know how this works. YouTubers defending MrBeast for the cash. Got to earn points with the biggest YouTuber that everybody likes, right? But people with no financial incentive defending creators like MrBeast, boy do you make me feel stupid. So here's me begging for money. Ko-fi link also in the description. And this particular video, this one you're watching, is me going with the flow and capitalizing on the drama. It's profitable to criticize MrBeast now. Still, I'm probably just making one video in addition to the previous one in 2022. I'm not spamming you. Chasing clout by criticizing MrBeast right now looks something like this. I'm sure that's a good chunk of money, but to be fair, is summarizing events really that unethical compared to promoting gambling, a worship of money, disregarding environmental damage and massive consumption to children? Up one more level of chasing clout, and this is just a random guy who claims MrBeast stole his ideas based off of some whiteboard drawings. 1.6 million views as of taking this screenshot by going with the flow of criticizing MrBeast, and I saw his subscribers grew by at least double, while setting up a GoFundMe with a goal of $1.7 million. Now that's chasing clout. And no matter how obvious the chasing clout is, people still subscribed to him and donated. But you see why it took so darn long for criticisms of MrBeast to come out? Again, it's not anything new in the sense that startups often have similar cultures, and scandals usually take years to surface. Even now, there will be people who still are going to defend MrBeast. They'll continue to make the common retort, "What have you done for charity?" Or, "What MrBeast does goes back to giving the community," or, "Movie doesn't make the same amount of waste, so why are you complaining?" To continue to use lines of questioning like that to justify a position that you can basically do anything you want as long as you film or show yourself doing charity for a little bit. Either they miss the point that it is the morality and authenticity of MrBeast being questioned, or they fully understand the point and think that there is nothing wrong. Nothing wrong that MrBeast is doing basically what every capitalist does, ignoring the social and environmental impacts of their production while claiming that they are helping those social and environmental causes. Nothing wrong with exploiting the law, which has different rules for TV and online productions, exploiting worker rights and safety, exploiting psychology, and exploiting goodwill. The MrBeast brand promotes the mentality that wealth and image is everything. That as long as you have the image of being environmentally friendly, it doesn't matter that you contribute and encourage others to do it. That as long as there is money to be made, the corrosion that is not quantifiable by money can be ignored. That it's okay to break things first to achieve your goals, as long as you can pay the right people. It's also cementing stereotypes like Africa being poor and corrupt, needing white saviors. Either Donaldson is an unapologetic capitalist who has mastery of exploiting the system, or he is a rich white man with a massive savior complex who just happened to do all the things that exploit said system. And I don't know about you, but ain't it a bit fucked up that there are children whose role model is someone who doesn't have any moral conflicts as long as it's within the law. You know? The law that only works for certain people. And also, this role model wants to be president. You know, that position that has power to change the law. And they want it to be president in 10 years, which is just about the time that those kids will be of voting age. It's not the first time that America had a celebrity with Arnold in their name for that position. And as far as the rest of the world can tell, those 2 times were pretty damaging. Oh yeah, one more thing. Those smiles. Now, for people who do have real medical problems with smiling, I'm sorry, but I still have to talk about this because this is the only chance I'll have without coming off too much like an asshole. That smile on MrBeast thumbnails are the most terrifying fakest smile you will see from any human being. If you see anyone on the street smiling like that, fucking run. The reason why his smile looks so lifeless is because his eyes don't seem to change with the expression. Take this example of him being buried alive and the thumbnail of him buying the largest mystery box. The eyes don't change. It's like his mouth and face tried to smile, but his eyes remained dead. Even if we swap to this example of a game of tag, he's down here winning money, but his eyes are the same as when he's buried alive. When people smile, the eyes are supposed to move together, and you can see a slight squint as your cheek muscles raise up. If you ever wondered why smiling anime characters are drawn with completely closed eyes, that's an exaggeration of this. But do you know when did Donaldson did a genuine smile? When talking about NFT pumping. His eyes were already kinda droopy, but you can see his eyes squint just slightly as his cheeks go up. That's a genuine smile. Maybe having fake ass smiles is some thumbnail hack for more views among children, I don't know. But just based on this, it feels like it's some self-conscious thing. Maybe he doesn't like how small his eyes look when he's really smiling. But it's just gossiping at this point, so I'll end it here.